field gymnasium on the campus of Galesburg High School. It's Clutch Sports Media's audio coverage of IHSA sectional semifinal basketball. Tonight, the Richwoods Knights will meet with the Rock Island Rocks to try to move to the sectional finals on Friday. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Jonathan Michael, I'm Gavin Russell here for some great basketball tonight. We're going to step aside for a quick break for the national anthem and be back for all the action on ClutchSportsIL.com. Illinois, Clutch Sports Media's coverage of IHSA semifinal sectional basketball is ready to go. Audio only coverage reminder tonight, but you got the scoreboard there on your screen that Mr. Jonathan Michael will be pulling double duty doing color commentary, also updating the scoreboard. John, let's get you in here. Great night for basketball, great Tuesday, and this is an electric matchup.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, Peoria and the Quad Cities are two of the most historic and most tradition-led areas in the state in high school basketball, and Rock Island certainly right up there. Very historic program for them. Dozens of trips deep into the state playoffs, and for Richwoods as well. They're kind of the ambassador for Peoria High. They are for the Peoria area, I should say. They won the Peoria High Regional, taking down Peoria Notre Dame and then Emmanuel. So Richwoods, they've already established their dominance in Peoria. Now it's time to take their show on the road and give other teams around the state a little taste of what they are, but they're a very, very deep squad led by, you can name 4 or 5 guards at least, if not more, for Richwoods. Should be a great matchup against the Rock Island Rocks of the Western Big Six here tonight.
Indeed, it's a pretty even location, but neither team having to go extraordinarily far, kind of being in the middle. So, hey, a good neutral site, I would say. Jonathan Michael, IHSA chose well this year. Starting lineups for both sides. First for the Richwoods Knights, who will be the visitors on the scoreboard, wearing their green road uniforms, black trim with silver letters and numbers. They'll start with senior guard 5'10", number 2, Markel Newsom. Number 4 is Tavy Smith, the junior shooting guard, standing at 6'2". 6'2" junior guard, number 5, Jared Jackson. Out there with football quarterback, getting it done on the hardwood, number 12, senior 6'2", Greg Burnside. Rounding it out is the man in the middle, Sabri Cottam, 6'3", senior, wearing 24. The Rocks are in white with yellow and red letters and numbers. We'll get tip-off here in a minute. Tip is up and won by the Rocks. Back to Marcus McQueen, and now ball handled by KJ Lamonte. Stumbles with it at first, moves it back over to Atkinson. He's out there as well alongside Desmond Jackson. Slips on his back. Newsom rips it away, out of bounds though, as KJ Lamonte slipped the ball early on.
A big turnover there for Richwoods early on. It ignites the student section. It takes up about almost an entire section here. It John Field Gymnasium. Great atmosphere in here. Richwoods traveled very well, and big key for them will be stopping those guards, Cam Atkinson and KJ Lamonte.
Tavy Smith pulls up for 2. On the board first are the Knights. 30 seconds into the game, and the Knights lead 2-0.
And Tavy Smith, I mean, you can name any of Richwoods' guards as they force a turnover there at half court, Richwoods' ball. But, Tavy Smith, obviously kind of the ringleader for them, but they also have lots of other guards like Nick Louderman, Markel Newsome, Jared Jackson, Greg Burnside. The list goes on. There's even more that we don't even have time to mention that can all be big for the Knights as well.
Jackson moves it over to Smith. Smith, Burnside, free throw line jumper off the iron. Quadum comes down with it. Up again, second chance opportunity is good. 4-0 Knights.
There's Quadum's first bucket of the game right off the offensive rebound. And if you've seen Richwoods play this year, it's not really too unfamiliar of a sight. Quadum does all the dirty work for him.
He does. Rocks moving around, nowhere to go. Get it into Akers, rather. Over to McQueen on the near side. He'll make a move, drives down the baseline, goes up, and he's fouled by Sabri Quadum. First foul of the game. 6:30 left to go in the first quarter as the Knights lead 4-0.
And you just talked about Quadum there. He picks up the foul, and he's a great glue guy for this Richwoods team. One thing that has got to be key for him is keep him out of foul trouble. He sometimes does get a little foul prone for the Knights, so if he can prevent from picking up that second foul too early, though, they should be in good shape.
McQueen to inbound. Tosses it in at the last second. Gets it down. Akers up it, but he is fouled by Jared Jackson. The Richwoods traveling faithful doesn't like it very much. Definitely some contact, though, for my eye, as Terrell Akers will shoot too.
Yeah, definitely. And, this Rock Island team is, one that lost a big presence down there in the paint for him. We have Baker Beal. Obviously, they lost him after last year. So he was a huge player for the Rocks down low, big forward for them. And they lost a lot of size from that squad they had last year. So two teams that are a little bit more guard heavy, but Rock Island has maybe a slight size advantage here tonight.
Newsome pulls up in the lane. It's good for 2 from the free throw line. 6-0. The last trip to the line by Tremel Akers didn't hit either from the foul stripe, so 6-0 Knights. Driving up, lost by Lamonte, and he can't believe it, thought he got fouled. But now they're going to say it's going to stick with the Rocks. It was tipped out there by Markel Newsome. McQueen to inbound. Nowhere to go. And offensive foul is going to go on KJ Lamonte, the junior. Kind of mentioned some of the starting lineup for the Rocks. Didn't get to completely finish it out. Atkinson is out there. He's wearing number 1, 6'4" senior, out with Desmond Jackson, 6'3" junior. KJ Lamonte, the junior guard, wearing 15. Tremel Akers and Marcus McQueen rounding things out. Three-pointer, Jared Jackson hits it from the corner. 9-0 Knights.
And what play by the Richwoods offense and defense both early on. They're really frustrating the Rocks on both sides of the ball. They just don't look in sync right now at all. And an offensive foul, they turn it right back over. Nothing going the Rocks' way right now. The ball movement, though, was a big key on why Jackson got that open three there in the corner.
Timeout Rocks. The message there on the bench is just, let's get going. Let's pick the pace up a little bit, reset a little bit. Early on, though, John, the biggest theme is obviously mentioned ball movement. Subsequently, the lack of ball movement because they've turned the ball over at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it's tough to get shots off when you have lots of turnovers. And as any coach will tell you, missed shot's a lot better than a turnover because those turnovers can usually result in big momentum swings or a fast break for the other team. In this case, the Knights. So Rock Island needs to hit the reset button. They need to do it now because we mentioned before this game that they need to get off to a quick start offensively. They need more consistency after a good but not great win in the regional title game over Dunlap.
Knights come off the timeout. Here's Quadum, drives down the lane. He's fouled on the floor. No, travel. Ref had to deliberate about it for a second, but Turnover on Sabri Quadam, took a couple extra steps, so the Rocks will get it back. Full court pressure from Richwoods.
Knights bringing that man-to-man defense pretty much every game. They say that that's their tradition.
Here comes Atkinson, top of the key, fires it over, up and in for two. First points of the game, Tremel Akers hits it. 5 minutes in the first quarter, 9-2 Knights.
That's a nice finish there after that rocket of a pass.
Three-pointer short off the iron, no good by Tavy Smith. Here come the Rocks. KJ Lamonte has it, does a lot of their ball handling. Gets a screen by Akers, drives inside, Lamonte kicks it out, Atkinson deep three-pointer off the iron. Tipped around, saved by the Rocks. Back again for three, off again is Cam Atkinson, so Richwoods comes down with it.
And those three balls from Atkinson, I don't know if that's how he shoots, but it has some weird spin to it. Doesn't really have a traditional rotating spin. It's kind of like a rotating and spin at the same time, so not sure if he got it off, but maybe that's the way he just shoots, who knows.
Got to lock in though, find your shooting range. Jackson, it's tipped out of bounds. He lost it, then saved it, and then it was tipped out by a Rock, so it'll stick with the Knights. 4:13 to go in the first quarter.
With our first sub of the game, that's at least for Richwoods, J.D. Etherly coming in. He scored a bucket against PND, and one of close to 10 guards come off this Richwoods bench. And you got Nick Louderman, he can really shoot the rock, and Tyrese Carter can make a difference. You got Javen Moore, who's a swing man as well. It played well against PND. Then you got Nehemiah Mason, who had some late game heroics. I mean, the list just goes on and on for Richwoods. You can't stress enough how much this depth has helped them.
Driving in as Smith kicks it out to Jackson. Now Markel Newsom pulls for three, no good. Tipped around. Finally, the Rocks come out with it. Atkinson gets the board. Lamonte in the corner. Thought about driving in. Face guarded by Markel Newsom. Nowhere to go with it. Kicks it back out. Rocks fans want a foul call. Greg Burnside getting in the face a little bit. Here comes Atkinson. Drives, stripped away. Goes up again. And going to be a foul on the floor. We'll see who this goes on.
I think it's going to be on Jared Jackson. That would be his second foul.
And that's big for the Richwoods Knights as Jackson will take a seat. Two early fouls for the junior, who is definitely one of the more dynamic players probably anywhere in 309 area. Quick inbounds pass. Akers gets it to go. Akers really starting to clean up. He's got all four of the Rocks points. 9-4, 3:20 to go in the first quarter.
It shows what happens when you can start getting some stops on defense like the Rocks have.
Etherly no good. Akers comes down with it. Here comes Atkinson. Fast break. Slows down. Now steps through. Kicks it out. Three-pointer. Rocks no good. Tipped out. Etherly comes out with it. He's going 2-on-1. Hop steps up, in, and one. J.D. Etherly.
Right on cue. We said, Gavin, those players that come off the bench for Richwoods are pretty much just as good as their starters. Etherly proves it there. A nice finish, drawing the bucket and the foul. And he kind of released that ball maybe a little after he felt that contact. A slightly delayed call by the referee. So just kind of wondering whether or not there should have been a call because of the difference in time between the foul and the shot.
Foul shot was no good by Etherly, so he gets two, but not the old-fashioned three. 11-4 Knights, 2:45 to go. Driving inside, up and no, almost an and one. Just took a funky bounce off the rim. KJ Lamonte will shoot two.
Foul goes on Newsom. That'll be his first, but Rock Island really trying to establish that aggressiveness down there in the paint. We've seen a couple threes that they shot, one from Lamonte and two there from Atkinson as the first one goes down, but really they're trying to establish their identity, getting points down the paint and really just being slashers.
Great point. Akers has come up with both of Rock Island's field goals. Lamonte trying to hit the second foul shot, no good. He hits one, but we're going to get a lane violation.
Yep.
So Don King veteran referee calls a lane violation on Richwoods, so redo. Lamonte, that missed free throw doesn't go in the record books, so he'll get a second chance. Substitution here for the Rocks. Devontae Cartwright checks in for Marcus McQueen.
Lamonte, one of 2 all-conference picks for the Rocks that were, just announced yesterday as he knocks down the second free throw. Cam Atkinson winning second team. Lamonte, honorable mention.
Markel Newsom has it over to Greg Burnside, top of the key. Burnside spinning, driving, back out to Javen Moore. Here comes Tavy Smith, kicks it out. Nick Louderman on the far side. Now back to Markel Newsom. A long 2-pointer, well guarded, tipped around. Knights try to save it, bouncing still on the floor and taken away by Atkinson. Up we go. Lamonte drives in, hop step, up and in. Sweet move by the junior, KJ Lamonte. 11-8, Knights still in front with 2 minutes to go in the first.
And nice play in transition there for the Rocks. There's a little bit of scrum there in the far corner. Thought that maybe be a jump ball. Rock Island wrestles it away, and again, that sweet finish you mentioned, Gavin, just like butter.
It's going to be a rock fight.
There's number 1.
There's number 1. If you follow me on Twitter, maybe saw how I was commenting, how many times can I compare this game to a rock fight, as Tavy Smith is fouled and he'll shoot 2. But that is what it is indeed. Both these teams just play very hard-nosed basketball. You know, you think some teams might excel in one area, shooting, maybe defense, but both these teams are just dynamic, smash-mouth basketball, as the first one's good by Tavy Smith. Nehemiah Mason, who has possibly hit one of the coldest shots I've seen this basketball season, he checks
I would argue the coldest, not to interrupt you, but
I don't want to count anything out yet. We've still got some basketball games to watch.
So far,
and it's late in the year, so he's making a good case for it. He hit a buzzer beater from the volleyball line in the third overtime of a multi-overtime thriller against Peoria High. Richwoods ended up winning.
Another contender would be Jacob Johnson's buzzer-beating 3 to beat Peoria High for Peoria Notre Dame.
Indeed, up, no, charge. Thought that Quantarian Brooks had the and one. He doesn't like the call, but it's a charge. Minute and a half to go, 13-8. Knights still in front.
Yeah, big charge there, and again, that'll really just energize your bench, energize your team. Head coach William Smith is going to love that, and the Knights could have needed it. They're off to a great start, 9-0, but since then, Rocks have really, everything's been rolling back their way. So, minute and a half left to maybe get a couple more buckets.
Here's Nehemiah Mason over to Marlon Heron, the sophomore who just checked into the game. Back over to Tavy Smith. A lot of juniors on this Richwoods team. Tavy Smith is one of them. He'll back it out onto the logo, the Silver Streaks logo here at Galesburg High School. Over to Heron. Heron top of the key over to Smith. Corner 3 off the iron. Taken down by the Rocks. McQueen has it now over to Lamonte. Lamonte in no hurry, under a minute to go in the first. He's guarded by Tavy Smith. On the near side, Lamonte kicks it over. Brooks fires it over. Up and fouled. It's going to be 2 shots for Cartwright. And the Rocks can get this down to 1 possession with 2 made free throws.
And that really the reason why Cartwright, was going to the line. He had a tremendous pass fake. I mean, we see a lot of players, they shot fake and do all sorts of other fakes. But really, at least to me, one of the most underrated fakes is the pass fake, which he got him there, had him looking one way, had a wide open lane, and really Marlon Heron's only defense there was to come over the back and foul him.
Marlon Heron is a sophomore, plays junior varsity as well, but he's getting some big minutes in a big game, and as many will, he'll be back next season for what will be a largely returning Richwoods Knights squad, which should be scary to anybody in the area. Both free throws are good by Devontae Cartwright. 3-point lead for the Knights, under 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Mason fires over to Heron. Heron drives in, quick shot, blocked away by Quantarian Brooks. Recovered. Heron gets it back, Two-pointer off the iron. McQueen brings it down for Rock Island.
Crazy thing after that start from Rock Island, they could go into the second quarter tied up here with a 3-ball.
15 seconds to go. Up and in. Cartwright, pump fake. No good off the iron. Brooks gets it. He's fouled finally with 7 seconds. Cartwright had it. Pump fake, but Richwoods recovered. Then Brooks got it. A whole crazy sequence right there. Quantarian Brooks will finally shoot two.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gavin, in this first quarter, Richwoods had the lead, but Rock Island has taken them to the quarry in the paint in terms of physicality. I mean, every play, it seems like they're either drawing a foul or getting the offensive rebound. Really like Rock Island's physicality here in the first quarter, and it's a big reason, perhaps the biggest reason why they're going to be heading into the second quarter, potentially down 1, although they could have the lead or be tied.
Brooks' second foul shot is off. Newsome comes down with it. 5 seconds now. Now 4. Now 3, 2, 1. Newsome makes a move. Falling away. Got it to go! Markel Newsome at the buzzer.
Is someone in here shooting highlights? That was one of the best crossovers to beat the horn I've seen in my life. He split 2 defenders, one in front of him and one of them behind him, sidestepped through him with a behind-the-back dribble move, got wide open. I mean, you could have reached your arms out with the amount of space that he had and then drained the shot.
What a play right there from Markel Newsome. The senior went coast to coast with about 7 seconds left, made an unbelievable dribble move and hit a falling away shot from around the free throw line area, kind of where it intersects close to the volleyball line. And the Knights lead 15-11 after the first quarter. John Michael, maybe a takeaway, maybe a key going into the second quarter for both sides.
And definitely, for Richwoods, I think they got to get bigger down there in the post. And obviously, Quantum started the game for them, but didn't play a ton after he got subbed out. So again, he's one of their most physical players, and they're going to need him to step up and be physical for the Knights without fouling too terribly much. Obviously, Rock Island, they're already in the bonus. So for them, it's just, keep on getting downhill, which they have done on almost every possession. So keep getting downhill and getting the line, because no matter what, you're shooting free throws for the entire second quarter, and that's a great way to erase the deficit. We're only down 4.
Starting the quarter, 10 seconds in, Markel Newsome staying hot, hits it for 2, 17-11 Knights. He's got 7 on the game. Here's Atkinson, drives down the lane, floater up, takes a funky bounce off. Here comes Newsome. Other way, left-hand layup is good. The senior has 9 points. He is on fire.
Call him the magician Markel. Another tough floater there, high off the glass. Of course, falls right in. Sometimes it's just one of those days, and it is for Markel Newsome.
Lamonte's 3 is off for Rock Island. Burnside comes down with it, back to Markel Newsome. Here's Jared Jackson. He's playing with 2 fouls. Hop step, up, in, and 1. Jared Jackson.
And there's a technical foul there that was just called on Quantarian Brooks, who has his arms out questioning, how are you going to give me that? But that's huge for the Knights. After the lead was just down to 13-11, all at your blink of an eye, it leads up to 8. You're shooting a free throw, and then you got the technical foul. So you're shooting more free throws after that. Huge.
And this was just a 4-point game, and we've played not even a minute into the second quarter. 2 quick buckets, a technical foul. This is a 10-point lead already for Richwoods. Could be more.
And you just can't do that right now if you're Brooks. Obviously, you know it's a big game. You know it's the playoffs, and Brooks is a senior, so he's playing to fight to keep his high school basketball career alive. But you just can't do that, especially after the and 1. It's already firing Richwoods up a lot. Great finish, though. I didn't catch who that was initially. It was at Jackson, who knocks down his first technical free throw. But again, we said Rock Island's been physical, and Richwoods, they've gotten some points down near the paint as well. They've just been able to do so with a little bit more finesse, and they've been able to get some really tough looks to fall.
So sorting this out for you, right now it's 20-11 as Markel Newsome has some technical free throws to shoot. Wild sequence as Jared Jackson completed an and one. Quantarian Brooks gets hit with a technical foul. Newsome's first free throw is up and good. He'll shoot another. This could be, trying to do the quick math here, 5-point swing off the and one plus 2 free throws if Newsome hits it. Takes a dribble. Fires it up, and it's good. So 5 points just off that. Now Richwood gets it back. They already lead by 13.
Yeah, and it was just 13-11 with about 5 seconds to go in the first half. So again, you do the math, and that's an 11-0 run in the course of under a minute.
And an offensive foul on Markel Newsome. So a minute into the second quarter, we've seen fouls, we've seen technical fouls, we've seen and ones. Sectional basketball for you.
No place better for it than Illinois, specifically Central Illinois. Every playoff game seems like it could be almost like a state title. This means so much more when careers and entire seasons are on the line.
No doubt about it. McQueen has it. Richwoods goes into a zone. Rock's trying to figure it out. McQueen, deep three off the iron. Jared Jackson goes over the top, gets that board. Newsome runs quickly. Floater, in and out.
I like that touch, though. Markel Newsome is really practices floaters, I can tell you that.
Just not a friendly bounce from the rim. McQueen, far side of Lamonte, over to Cartwright, back to Lamonte. Lots of catch around the perimeter. Atkinson, cross court. Lamonte thinking about doing something. Drives up, trying to draw a foul, gets his own board, and then foul.
That's 3 on Jared Jackson now. He's pleading his case and he went straight up, but looks like that was Lamonte just boxed him out there, and Jackson's instinctive defense was to try and swat it out, and he did, but he also drew some skin as well, and now he's got 3 fouls.
Jared Jackson probably going to be done for the half. He's made a couple of big game-changing plays. He's got 6 points. First free throw is up and good by KJ Lamonte, and Jackson checks out for Marlon Heron. Desmond Jackson is in for Marcus McQueen of Rock Island. 24-12. 6 minutes to go, second quarter. Second foul shot up and good from KJ Lamonte. 11-point game. Heron wide open on the other end, got it to go. 26-13 Knights. Caught him sleeping after the free throws, and Knights back up 13.
More bench points for the Knights. I'm really keeping my eye on that. It's been a huge part in Richwoods. Last time that we saw them, at least the last time I saw them at P&D, was a big reason for their victory.
KJ Lamonte answers with a floater in the lane, 26-15. 5.5 to go in the second quarter. Into the lane, Burnside. Burnside goes up and doesn't hit anything. Comes down with it are the Rocks. Lamonte the other direction, over the timeline. Gets a screen from Akers. Tipped away, stolen by Tavy Smith. He'll slow it down now, near side on the wing. And timeout Richwoods, full timeout. As the Knights with an 11-point lead, Will Smith wants to talk it over.
Yeah, I'm sure this one is maybe talking about their defensive set. Obviously the Knights, they started out in that man and then switched to that zone. Obviously they play a lot more man than they do zone, but Rock Island was able to get a couple buckets there. So maybe he's going to switch things up, maybe go back to man or maybe drop a new zone, which probably why you would maybe call a timeout. You never know, but either way, William Smith has got these Richwoods Knights for their first 20-win season in 12 years, and you see it there on the bottom of your screen. Knights looking for their first sectional title since 2009 to do so. They have to win tonight, and then they got to beat Metamora or Sterling on Friday.
Indeed they do. I saw Danny Greaves and some of the Metamora coaching staff in the house maybe taking in a little scouting this evening before they play tomorrow against the Sterling Golden Warriors, who Much like this beautiful Galesburg gym, Sterling also has a great gymnasium. This Galesburg gym is very beautiful though. Second level seating on both sides. Got a little video board action. Nice court. Pulled up to their football field, John, compared to a college field.
Yeah, I mean, the facilities here at Galesburg are very nice. First time I've been able to take in a game out here, and
for me as well.
We saw their football field, and saw their big, athletic facility at the end zone. It reminds me, I mean, could it be? Honestly, you could say it for a D3 school.
Indeed. Back off the timeout. Here comes Newsom, top of the key, over to Smith on the wing. Smith drives in, left hand, no good. Tough falling shot. Here comes Lamonte the other direction. Near side wing. Backs it out. Into the corner. Fires it out. Lamonte drives in on the baseline. Up under, blocked by Greg Burnside. Knights get it. Javen Moore wasn't expecting the pass. Got an outlet pass from Markel Newsom and traveled with it. Markel Newsom pats his chest, says, my bad.
Yeah, and that was a good pass there. Obviously, Moore was open down there in transition near the free throw line. But again, like you said, it wasn't expecting the pass. But, one thing, obviously, Lamonte took that last shot attempt for Rock Island. It looks like he's kind of trying to kind of carry this team right now. He's their leading scorer right now with 8. Almost like a deep three there.
Thought about it, but he was at least 3 steps back from three-point line. Atkinson, similar spot, no good. Comes down with it. Moore over to Heron. 3:45 to go. Tavy Smith setting up a play. Trying to make a move. Nearly a 5-second call. Burnside. Has it now. Taking his time. 3:25.
Ziri, Richwoods chant coming there from their student section.
They're going to take their time. Just a shy over 3 minutes to go in the first half. Driving in, Moore up and in. What a sweet pass from Tavy Smith. Drove down the lane and dumped it off. 28-15 Knights.
Not only can Tavy Smith create shots for himself,
KJ Lamonte can hit threes.
Indeed, going back to that point there for Richwoods, and nice shot there by Lamonte. Gets it to 10 for the Rocks, but Tavy Smith is just as good of a passer as he is a shooter, and maybe if he doesn't have his shooting stroke on, he can really dish it out, finding his teammates, and great pass there to Burnside.
Speaking of Tavy Smith, he travels in the lane, couldn't quite get his footing, so the Rocks with an opportunity. They started the quarter down just 4, John. 2.5 to go in the first half. They're down 10. It was a particularly interesting swing, a 3-point play plus a technical foul that really extended out Richwoods' lead. Here comes Atkinson. Hop step in and good for 2. 8-point game. 2:20 to go in the second quarter.
And Rock's starting to climb back in it just a little bit. It looked like after that whole technical foul and that 5-point swing, the 11-0 run in 1 minute, that all would be lost for them, but they did a good job of keeping themselves in the game. And aside from maybe a couple tough stretches, that 9-0 run at the start of the game, that 11-0 run in the course of 1 minute, they're look at the full course of the game. They're outplaying the Knights. Just Richwoods has gotten hotter. That's how they're up right now.
Other way we'll go for a 1-1 in the bonus are the Rocks. 9th team foul on Richwoods. It was a loose ball foul on Javen Moore. Richwoods couldn't get the 3 to go from Tavy Smith, so other way we go. First free throw, good by Atkinson. He'll shoot the second of the bonus.
Atkinson put up 20 against Galesburg in their regional semifinal win.
Second one is good from Cam Atkinson. It's just a 6-point game. You thought the Knights' biggest lead of 14 would have been enough to propel them to a win here early on. Think again. It's playoff basketball, no lead is safe.
Definitely not, and you see it at any level. I mean, the other night, there's almost a huge comeback. I forget the two teams that played, but there's one team that was nearly down 30 with about 13 minutes left to play and almost came back. So again, this is, as John Rothstein would say, this is only March. Well, you got about another 4.5 hours officially until March, but you get the picture.
Tavy Smith wants to play to March. He hits another bucket. He's up to 6. Minute and a half to go in the first half. Lamonte has it on the logo. Down by 8, drives down the lane. Blocking foul, and looked like the right call to me. We're up here in the corner, John Field Gymnasium, and it looked like Tavy Smith was falling a little too early. Lamonte a little shaken up on the play.
Yeah, a little bit. He'll stay in the game and shoot free throws as Richwoods. Now that's their 10th foul, so Rock Island will be in the double bonus rest of the first half here. Again, just tuning in, Jared Jackson for Richwoods has 3 fouls. Newsom's got 2.
Richwoods fans chant miss, but he does not. Lamonte, first free throw is good. He's up to 12. Believe leading all scores. Just behind is Markel Newsom's 10. He slowed down considerably in the last couple minutes after a red-hot start.
Richwoods, that's kind of what they can sometimes do is, they have different players that can really get hot and get quick in a hurry. And we saw that with Tavy Smith the other day back against their Peoria Regionals. So they have different players that can kind of carry them through different stretches of the game. It's maybe a little bit unconventional. I'm not sure they try and do it, but it's something that they certainly can do.
1 minute to go in the first half. 6-point lead for the Knights. Rocks have clawed back from down 14. Richwoods in no hurry. Tavy Smith's gonna just dribble around with it till he finds something he likes. 45 seconds to go. Markel Newsom will drive inside, kicks it back out, trying to make a dribble move.
Great defense there by Cam Atkinson, really just locking up all the avenues that Markel Newsom had to drive into the lane.
Under 30 seconds, 27 and counting. Looks like the Knights are gonna try to hold for the last shot. Tavy Smith's just gonna dribble out with it to avoid a 5-second call. 17 seconds, now 16. Dribbles around, 12 seconds, long three-pointer, does the splits, thought he got fouled, finds the rebound. Javen Moore, 4, now 3, here come the Rocks, stolen away. Newsom at the horn again. Off the iron, that would have been his second buzzer beater of the game had it gone. But the Knights finish a strong first half, up 8, 32-24 over the Rock Island Rocks.
And overall, I think that first half, was well played by both teams. Lots to like, lots that both teams want to improve on in the second half. But overall, great first half of basketball, and nice job there by Javen Moore and the Knights giving him that last bucket before the half. That's sometimes a lot bigger than you think, can really boost some morale going into the break. But great first half of basketball. Can't wait to see how this one comes down the stretch.
It's going to be fun down the stretch. Appreciate you've joined us here. Reminder, this is an audio-only broadcast. We're not able to do video streaming, and FHS Network will have that. But listen to us here. We've got all the live action and analysis. Really one of the only play-by-play and color commentaries you're going to find for this matchup, so stick with us. 32-24, Knights in front over the Rock Island Rocks. Leading scorers, it's KJ Lamonte with 13 for Rock Island, who has over half their points. Markel Newsom has 10 of Richwoods' 32. Key to note as well, Jared Jackson, who's a starter for Richwoods, has 3 fouls, so didn't play much of that first half. We'll see if he can jump back in there and stay out of foul trouble. For now, we're going to take a quick break here on ClutchSportsIsle.com. Jonathan Michael, Gavin Russell, Paco Alonzo taking photos and doing social medias for us, and Joining us a couple seats down, it looks like he may have went to retrieve his popcorn. But it's
You know who it is.
It's Adam Duvall of the Peoria Journal-Star who's sitting with the booth with us tonight, taking in the game, and I'm sure he'll have some stories to write following this great matchup here in the sectional semifinal. We're going to take halftime break real quick. 8 minutes on the clock. We'll be back for more sectional semifinal basketball. Richwoods and Rock Island on ClutchSportsIL.com. Welcome back to John Field Gymnasium in Galesburg for tonight's IHSA 3A Boys Sectional Semifinal. Rock Island Rocks and Richwoods Knights are doing battle tonight. Richwoods leads 32-24 after the break. Just about a minute and a half left on the warm-up clock as the teams will finish up their warm-up shooting. Jonathan Michael, I'm Gavin Russell, and John, it's been a good one so far. Rock Island got it down by as much as 14. Richwoods, though, has been pretty steady, holding a few possession lead, and they go in 8 at the break.
Yeah, definitely, and those big runs by the Knights got them out in front, but for chunks of that game, Rock Island has looked just as good as Richwoods. They just want to prevent them from going on those runs, obviously, but for them, I think the biggest key is to get someone besides KJ Lamonte going. Came back and had just 4 in the first half for Rock Island. So if they can get someone besides Lamonte, scoring the Rocks some more, I think they can be in good shape. Richwoods, on the other hand, they have a couple of players that are obviously led by Newsome in double figures, but Tavy Smith has some big buckets. Javen Moore, only 4 points, but very clutch baskets as well. So they're getting a little bit more players involved, maybe spreading the wealth a little bit more, but should be a great second half of action. Really want to see how aggressive Rock Island is going to be in this half, and if they are, how well can they make their free throws down the stretch?
Yeah, free throw shooting has been something that's been a bit of an Achilles heel for both of these teams at time this year. Rock Island has already missed 3 to 4, I would venture to say. No official stat on that, but they've missed a couple. Richwoods has missed 1 or 2 as well. Rocks start with the ball in the second half. Lamonte out there with Jackson. Inside, it'll go to Atkinson. Can't get the dunk to go.
He tried to tip it back up after he missed the dunk. He was hanging on the rim and tipped the ball up with his right hand. That was his free hand, and obviously that's not allowed, but that was a great cut to get open. Just couldn't finish off the slam. That would have been huge.
Almost a game-changing dunk by Cam Atkinson, but couldn't get it to go. Smith out there with Newsome. Newsome will step in for 2, no good, blocked by McQueen. Here's Sabri Quadam, free throw line jumper, got it to go. In addition to those guys, Richwoods also has Greg Burnside and Jared Jackson out there. Lamonte, Jackson, McQueen, Atkinson, and Akers for the Rocks. Foul on Markel Newsome, a block. 10-point lead for Richwoods.
That's Newsome's third, so Richwoods has really got to be careful on their guards and how they defend around the perimeter. So interesting to see Jackson out back on the court immediately with 3 fouls. He's got Marcus McQueen. As he's defending right now, maybe McQueen will try and get him down low.
3-pointer, no good. Akers gets the offensive board, goes up and in for 2. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, and still an 8-point game. Here comes Newsome. Makes a dribble move, gives it off to Jared Jackson. Tavy Smith. Over to Burnside, back to Smith. Driving down, Quadam up, off the iron, can't get it to go. Gets his own miss, and finally gets it to go. Second chance points for Sabri Quadam.
Again, that is just what Sabri Quadam does. Great hustle play there after he missed his first shot. Didn't look like he grabbed the board and was given a couple inches height-wise. Was able to tip it and get it right back, put it back in.
Akers with second chance points on back-to-back possessions. He's got 8 in the game, 4 in the quarter. Jared Jackson drives on the baseline, cut off, kicks it out to Sabri Quadam. Quadam, baseline jumper, got it
hot.
to go.
Sabri
Quadam is on fire. 6 of his 8 coming here in this third quarter. 5:40 to go. McQueen, corner 3, can't get it. 10-point lead, Knights are running.
What a pass, oh
Quadam
my word.
Up and in, Sabri Quadam.
And 1. What a feed though from Markel Newsome, who is sitting here half court in transition and flicks the ball, puts some spin on it, through traffic, finds Quadam, lays it in with the foul. Unbelievable basketball there from Richwoods.
Sabri Quadam taking over, and it's going to be a offensive loose ball foul on Cam Atkinson. So Richwoods doesn't get the and one to go, but they'll get the ball back.
Both those fouls on Atkinson for Rock Island, so he's quickly got 2. But just like I said earlier in the game, Gavin, Richwoods has players that can just take over the game in stretches. First it was Smith, then it was Newsom, now it's Sabri Quadam.
Up, Newsom can't get it to go, Akers gets it. 12-point lead for the Knights. Up, tough drive and fouled. KJ Lamonte will shoot 2, 5:16 to go in the third quarter.
And I like that play there from Lamonte there. Drove right and then drew the foul down near the baseline. Again, he's kind of been carrying the Rocks offense so far today and really getting back to the line, bringing back that aggressiveness that they had in the first half. That's Quadam's 3rd foul. So Quadam, Newsom, and Jackson all with 3. And all of them are in the game right now, but Quadam now will check out for Javen Moore.
And Quadam, Jackson, and Markel Newsom probably been the 3 biggest game changers tonight for Richwoods. First one's good by Lamonte. Shoots his second, good.
Again, Rock Island right now, again, only down 10. Lots of time left in this game for them. So now Quadam's on the bench, so if they can start playing some more solid defense, then maybe forcing Richwoods into some more perimeter looks, that lead can be chipped away at.
Newsom over to Burnside. Rocks go to a zone. 3-pointer, Tavy Smith can't get it. Jackson comes down with it for Rock Island. Here comes Atkinson, gets a screen. Over to McQueen. Now to Lamonte. Lamonte moves in. Kicks it out, trapped in the corner, throws it up. Akers grabs it, spins in, nearly turned over. Lamonte recovers, drives up, in for 2. 8-point game, 4.5 to go in the third quarter.
And Lamonte's defender, Greg Burnside, went aggressively for the steal there, hit the hardwood, came up empty, and that just left him wide open there for the right-handed layup.
And travel by Jared Jackson. Took a little hop step before putting the ball on the floor. And technical foul. Double technical, so offsetting. Markel Newsom gets one, and Tremel Akers gets the other. And that's big, John.
As Newsom's 4th.
Newsom has 4 fouls now.
Well, see, I'm trying to remember if because under double technicals, obviously there's no free throws that are shot.
It does count as a personal foul,
so that would be 4 on Newsom, who's got 10 for Richwoods.
Not saying you want to see a technical foul, but if you're Rock Island, Akers picking up that foul doesn't mean much. That's just his 2nd. On the other side, that's a lot. Newsom with 4. Quadam sits with 3. Jared Jackson has 3. Could this be the Rocks' turning point?
And I see the Richwoods coaching staff there looking a little bit more anxious right now. Newsom obviously not happy with himself.
Travel as Akers traveled before he got the bucket. Went up for 2, and the Rocks fans don't like it.
This atmosphere and the energy in this gym is ratcheting up, Gavin. Now here comes a press for Rock Island. This is kind of a mental test right now for the Knights. Obviously, again, you're not giving them a big run, but you guys have that technical foul given against you. You try to hang on to a lead. The gym is loud. It's playoff basketball.
It is kickball violation. Richwoods keeps it. Here's Marlon Heron. Smith, top of the key, back to Jared Jackson. Over to Heron. Gets it nearly stolen. Heron up and in. Javen Moore did a nice job setting a screen on the low block. Marcus McQueen answers on the other end. Back and forth we go. Call in response. 7-point game. 3.5 to go in the third quarter. Jared Jackson up and in. One way, the other way. Back again to Richwoods. All over the place.
Great bucket there by Jared Jackson, who acrobatically finishes that one off. And Lamonte almost finished a tough one off as well, but it looks like Tavy Smith will get called for the foul.
Marlon Heron will pick up the foul.
Stand corrected there.
There's a lot of players in the area, and when the game is moving this fast, John, it's hard to keep track of.
Certainly is, and that's why you're along with me. Correct me on my mistake there as Monte drops in the free throw. And he's showing a good stroke from the free throw line, so I think if this game does come down to it, and the Rocks need to maybe make up some points or potentially get within a possession, tie the game, they're going to want Lamonte at the line for sure.
7-point game. Marlon Heron has it on the other end. KJ Lamonte just hit 2 free throws. He's up to 19 on the game. Leads all scorers. Heron drives inside. Down to Moore. Got it to go. And Javen Moore with his 6th point of the game puts Richwoods up 9.
That's 2 straight buckets there for Richwoods that were probably a lot easier than Rock Island would have liked to have given up. And count the bucket.
Burnside and 1. Burnside, the steal, the hoop, the hard. He'll shoot 1 more.
Frankly, Gavin, I am a little surprised they called that continuation there because he got fouled and then it was about a second or two before he kind of got that shot off. So, again, the second time that Richwoods has done that. They feel the contact and then go up with the ball. I thought they were going to call that on the floor, but regardless, old-fashioned three-point play for Greg Burnside, the senior.
12-point game again. Rocks trying to respond. Atkinson didn't hit anything. Up, Cartwright gets the second chance points to go. Keeps the Rocks hanging around. 2.5 to go in the third quarter. 10-point game. Richwoods leads 49-39. Jared Jackson has it, guarded by Cartwright. Tries to make a move, nowhere to go. Jared Jackson dribbles the John Thiel Gymnasium logo. And foul by Cartwright. Devontae Cartwright will pick up his first foul of the ball game. 15 foul. 2 minutes and 1 second to go in the third quarter. Louderman into the game for Javen Moore. Javen Moore, who's had a couple of nice buckets here in the third. He'll sit down. Louderman, I believe, is yet to score in this ball game, but he
I believe he's yet to play. I think he just checked in for
he may have
first time.
Checked in briefly, but not played much. Maybe you're right, John. A lot of players, though, a deep Richwoods team. Louderman has not scored in this ball game, but he can hit from 3 very easily when he gets open.
And also from deep as well.
And foul right there is going to go on KJ Lamonte. And Lamonte picks up his second foul of the ball game. 16 fouls, so the rest of the way, Knights in the bonus. Minute 45 to go in the third.
A lot of the fouls have came away from the hoop. Obviously a couple and ones there that Richards has drawn this half, like ones there from Quadam and Burnside, but there's also been a couple that maybe aren't silly, but don't want.
Up and in, Tavy Smith gets it to go. 12-point lead now for Richwoods. Under a minute and a half to play in the third period. Atkinson steps in, 2-pointer, rebounded, up, blocked away. Tavy Smith, other way, Marlon Aaron up and scores.
What a block from Tavy Smith. He's just a guard and got some height to him, but he's not terribly tall. Goes in and flew in for that block. You can see that coming from about Knoxville.
Looked like Bradley's Zeke Montgomery.
Indeed.
Coming in with the block. Here goes Lamonte, can't get it to go. 3 players hold onto the ball and 2 bodies hit the deck, a jump ball. And Richwoods gets it back with 41.8 on the clock. 14-point, matching their largest of the evening. And Richwoods, a chance to start maybe icing it. I don't want to speak too soon, John. A lot of ball game to go.
Newsom coming now back in for Richwoods, playing with those 4 fouls. And he's matched up against Lamonte is playing defense on him right now, and I'm sure you don't want Newsome guarding Lamonte on the other end because he's been very aggressive on the drive tonight.
Into Heron, full court pressure. Gives it off to Newsome, 36 seconds. He's guarded by McQueen, the sophomore. Newsome hit a buzzer beater in the first quarter. We'll see if he holds and waits. And fouled by McQueen. One in the bonus time, 17th foul on Rock Island, and with 26.6, Markel Newsome goes to the strike.
And I see what Rock Island's trying to do. They're trying to, pressure the Richwoods ball handlers and maybe get steal in their midcourt and have a wide open, maybe 50 feet or so. We'll go in for a layup, but there's just been too many just bad fouls for the Rocks out around the perimeter, and now all of a sudden, boom, you're putting Markel Newsome at the line. And in the bonus, and we're still 26 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Nothing but twine and air on that shot. Got it to go through the cylinder. 15 points, largest lead of the game for Richwoods. Second foul shot from Newsome. It is good. 16 points. As Tyrese Carter makes his first appearance in this ball game. And back in is Javen Moore. 25 seconds. Atkinson will try to salvage something out of this third quarter for Rock Island. Gives it off to Lamonte, 18 seconds. Over to Atkinson. Pitch and catch. Stolen away. Here comes Javen Moore. Down the other way. Fouled by KJ Lamonte. And another chance for Richwoods to grow the lead with 9.1 to go on the clock.
That's number 3 on Lamonte. It's either his second, maybe his third of the second half. So again, Rocks not doing themselves any favors there with the fouls, but in that situation, they didn't really have many other options.
And first foul shot was no good, but it's a shooting foul. So he'll shoot 2.
There's a great steal there by Javen Moore initially to set up the layup attempt where he got fouled, read the passing lane on the cross court.
Jalen McFadden in for 9.1 to go in the third. Second foul shot, no good. Rocks have it. Lamonte, 4 seconds, now 3. Throws up a prayer, no good. Nehemiah Mason, half-court heave is going to be tipped and way short. But here come the Knights. They're 1 quarter away from a sectional final berth. They lead 55-39 and just about everything going right for the team in green, silver, and black.
Definitely, and that was a big quarter for the Knights. Obviously, they got off to a pretty good start to the half. Obviously, they had those technical fouls. I mean, obviously, you don't want Markel Newsome to be playing right now with 4 fouls, but you got to feel confident if you're Richwoods, even if he does foul out, because you still have so many other options. Like, again, you got guards like Louderman on your bench. You got Moore on your bench. You got J.D. Etherly on your bench. You got Mason on your bench. So, obviously, it wouldn't be ideal if one of your players were to foul out. Again, Newsome with 4, Quadam with 3, and Jared Jackson with 3. But that's the benefit that Richwoods has, is they can play aggressive and they can play deep as well. So, again, a lot went right for them. And, if they gave up any ground in that third quarter, it would have been a lot easier for Rock Island here in this fourth to potentially try and creep back into this game. But they have a mountain to climb with 8 minutes left to play.
Rock Island will try to do the impossible and make the fourth quarter comeback. Richwoods will try to hold on to their lead, which stands at 16. Lamonte, McQueen in the corner for 3. Rock Island can't get anything to go on their first possession. Jared Jackson picks it up, slices through defenders. Quadam kicks it around, over to Burnside, 3-pointer, no good.
Tremendous ball movement, though, there from Richwoods. Even though the shot didn't go down, that's a very high percentage look on the wing 3 there from Burnside, wide open.
And tipped out of bounds. Stick with Rock Island as Desmond Jackson had it tipped away. Rocks need to find something very quickly. 3-pointer, Lamonte tips around, no good. Here comes the other way, Marlon Heron all alone, out in transition and scores. 7:20 on the clock, and Richwoods starting to run away with it.
I'm sure the Richwoods fans probably wishing Marlon Heron was maybe a couple inches taller. He's had 2 wide open fast break layups, And Dunk would have given him maybe some extra style points, maybe some more momentum, but 2 points counts just the same.
And the second chance points, good from Devontae Cartwright. Under 7 minutes to go in regulation. Jared Jackson over to Burnside on the wing. Back to Jackson, top of the key. Aaron and Jackson play catch. Now Jackson makes a move but backs it out. Drives inside, out to Marlon Heron. 6.5 to play. Rocks really trying to turn up the aggressiveness. Heron drives down the lane and he's fouled. Goes tumbling into the padding on the wall. And an army of Knights comes over to pick him up.
The old cavalry showed up there. But really just great team play by the Knights so far all around tonight. You got, look at the scoring. You got Newsom with 12. Smith has 8. Jackson's got 8. Heron misses the free throw. He's got 8 right now with a chance to make it 9. Quadham's got 10. And the only player over, at least by our count right now, over 6 points for Rock Island is Lamonte, who's got 19.
19 points for KJ Lamonte, the junior. Heron goes 0 for 2 at the stripe. Lamonte up in for 2. Trying to will him back. Here comes Jared Jackson. Spins around, gets it over the timeline. Tavy Smith makes a move, up. Couldn't get it to go. Tipped around, Sabri Quadam comes out with it.
Who else?
And timeout Richwoods. Will Smith saw him get the offensive board, but didn't like where that play was heading, so he calls a timeout. 6:04, it's the Knights lead by 14. And John, I pose a question to you. Of course, with 6 minutes left, you're not going to start intentionally fouling.
No.
But at times, Richwoods has had their issues shooting from the charity stripe, and they've missed a few here tonight as Heron has gone scoreless at the free throw line, as has Javen Moore. What'd you think about just maybe allowing yourself to give up some fouls on purpose?
I wouldn't right now I would not, because of how aggressive Rock Island was. And again, you see there on your score bug there about at the middle of your screen, Rock Island's got 9 fouls, 6:04 left to go. So they were sitting at maybe 3, 4, 5 fouls, and Richards had to still get through the 1-and-1 bonus. I would maybe consider it a bit harder, but they're going to be shooting 2 the rest of the way, and I think that they have enough good free throw shooters on their team, and they don't want to do that yet.
Nearly stolen. Quadam recovers and gets it down to Burnside. Under 6 to go in regulation. Tough luck there for the Rocks. Three-pointer, no good. Here comes Jared Jackson, other way, and he'll slow it down. Rocks trying to trap. Burnside wide open in the lane. Up and in. Greg Burnside finding the open seams. He's up to 7.
Great block attempt there from Tremel Akers. Looked like he was going to swat that one from Burnside, but he went very high off the glass, got a nice roll.
Lamonte stripped away. Rocks fans wanted a foul call. Looked like there was some tip on the ball first. Marlon Heron has it now with 5 minutes to play in regulation, and fouled. Looks perhaps, maybe not totally intentionally, but willing to give it up was Devontae Cartwright.
I think, it looked to me like he was very willing to foul him there, and I'm sure head coach for Rock Island, Mark Polite, told him that, hey, if Heron has the ball, maybe foul him, give him some chances at the line, at least until he makes a couple. Went over 2 the first time and misses again there, so.
Heron still yet to hit at the stripe. He can push it to 19 with a made free throw right here. 5 minutes to go.
And while we have a moment, Rock Island, they've been really shooting a lot of threes, and they got a good percentage shooting there from their 2s. Threes, they've drained a couple, not a ton, but at this point of the game, it's kind of needs some. Well, that's kind of the whole paradox. You try and go for some quick 2s, or you go for some 3s, and obviously they just need points right now. There's still 4:49 left. And if you're Rock Island, you can say, well, hey, we saw Richwoods go on an 11-0 run in the span of a 13-0 run. No, it was an 11-0 run. They've gone on so many that I've lost count today, but an 11-0 run in the span of 1 minute. So you can say, hey, if they can do it, we can do it as well. Get some turnovers, some big shots. Obviously, if you're Richwoods, you don't want to give them any technical fouls because we've seen a couple of those tonight.
We have seen some technical fouls. Good points there, John. During the timeout, though, it captured my eye was the Dungeon student section traveling very well, and they were riding the roller coaster over there in the student section.
An all-time classic for high school student sections across the country.
Atkinson drives up and in for 2 off the timeout. 61-45, Richwoods leads the Rocks. Full court pressure, 4.5 to go in regulation. Newsom trapped.
He's in trouble.
Heron throws it up to Quadam. 2-on-1. Quadam drives up off the iron, can't get it to go. Here come the Rocks. McQueen has it back to Atkinson. Deep 3 off the iron. Looked like an ill-advised shot. Tipped away, nearly stolen. And finally fouled. Jared Jackson will now go to the line to shoot 2 double bonus for Richwoods.
And that was a deep 3 there for Atkinson. Obviously, he was kind of coming off the dribble a bit. I didn't mind that shot a ton because he can really shoot the rock. Cam Atkinson can. But, obviously you're down 16 and 4 minutes left, and you want to maybe get that big shot that lights the spark for him and gets your team going. And obviously 3 is better than 2, but.
First one's good from Jared Jackson, who has not picked up a foul in the half after playing with 3 fouls coming out of halftime. So he's done a fantastic job regaining some discipline. Markel Newsom's played with 4 fouls for a hot second as well. He's still in the ball game. Sabri Quadam has 3, but he checks out, I believe he does. Second one is up and good from Jared Jackson. He's up to 10 on the ball game. One of a few nights in double figures. Moving it around. Halfway home in the 4th quarter.
Rock Island's got to go there. Offense a little stagnant right now, standing around the perimeter.
Lamonte goes up and he's fouled. J.D. Etherly will pick up the foul. 3:50 to go. It's got to be do or die time for the Rocks. John, another thing I'll ask you here is KJ Lamonte will shoot 2 free throws. Rocks have 3 timeouts left in this ball game. Only used 1 in each half. Maybe you look back at this one later and think maybe should have used some more timeouts?
Well, potentially. Obviously, maybe, if you look at a lot of college coaches, they maybe try and call them in the middle of runs. And obviously high school coaches do it as well. But, I really don't think that this one would come down to timeouts. Maybe could have used 1 or 2, maybe in the middle of one of Richwoods' runs. Maybe help mitigate that and at least put a pause on their momentum at the very least. Richwoods just really played great basketball on both ends of the court so far.
Probably one of their more dominant performances of the year. Richwoods has fell very few times this season. Only 5 losses on the year. Started out, didn't lose a game for a while in the early season. They have fell very few times. Tipped away, Jackson recovers. Tipped away again. Here comes Quantarian Brooks for Rock Island. Spins around. Cartwright has it, but it's out of bounds, and it's go to Richwoods, and just again, getting sloppy, a little bit frustrated. They're just out of sync.
Yeah, Rock Island, just couldn't really get full control of that ball. Obviously, they knew they had to go quick and try and take advantage while they were in transition, get that layup there on the left-hand side, but passed it maybe just a bit too prematurely there. Then Rock Island goes, looks like for the jump ball in the corner. That'll give it to the Knights, but what they're doing there is just so as hey, we'll take the jump, we'll give it to you, and that way next time there's a jump ball, it'll come back to us.
Just trying to force turnovers any way possible. 3:10 on the clock in regulation. Burnside needs to get it in, gets it into Jackson, heaves it ahead. Trapped. Here's Burnside. Moves it across the timeline. Tavy Smith. Jaron Jackson has it. He'll back it out. Looks like Richwoods is just going to try to bleed clock. The crowd can sense it. Burnside is fouled by Quantarian Brooks. And leading by 16. Just start to make a few free throws in the last 3 minutes and start to ice it for the Knights.
I certainly think so, and it would take a lot of Richwoods missing and a lot of Rock shots to fall. Lots of turnovers, I'm sure, as well. If Rock Island wanted to come back into this one, but again, Knights in great shape as they look for their first sectional title since 2009. Again, to do that, though, they'll have to beat either Metamora or Sterling, which they'll play here in the John Thiel Gymnasium tomorrow at 7 p.m.
As they will. Metamora out of the Mid-Illini. Sterling coming up from
the Western Big Six.
Western Big Six
They're
as well.
Recently added a couple years ago, along with Geneseo.
Three-pointer no good. Cartwright gets the board. Coming over. Three-pointer on the way. Air ball. McQueen gets the air ball and puts it in for two. 65-49. Rocks trail. 2.5 to go in regulation.
You saw McQueen there was wide open on the offensive rebound, and that's pretty much Richwoods saying that, hey, we're content to give you the wide open too. We just don't want to give up a big three.
And Markel Newsom goes to the line to shoot two. Well into the bonus are the Knights. Starting to wrap it up and put a bow on it as Richwoods is looking to punch their ticket to Friday's sectional finals.
Interesting set here for Richwoods. Again, none of our stats are official, but this is one that we do know is, 7 players have scored for the Knights, and all 7 of them have scored at least 6 points. There's Danny Greaves, head coach for Metamora. He's obviously watching this one and get some scouting in. Good friend of Clutch Sports Media. Always a fun time seeing Danny.
He was having fun at the Bradley game on Sunday.
He was. The whole town was there. Who wasn't at that game?
That was a fun matchup. Second one was good by Newsom. Greaves was sitting front row, taking in a big one, cheering on the hometown Braves. Timeout Rock Island. 2:12 to go. And it looks like, John, it's going to be Richwoods moving on, barring an absolute miracle and Iowa-esque miracle of a few days ago as Iowa pulled off that improbable comeback over Michigan State. But we'll see.
Good news is we haven't had any head coaches steering out any referees.
That is
not
true.
in this one.
Fran McCaffrey is not in the building.
We don't know for sure. You never know 100%. He could be hiding somewhere, but I do not believe that Fran's in the building. Although he might be watching Moline possibly tomorrow, and his committed to, and Freeman and Brock Hardy. They'll take on Normal Community, so that's one to watch down in Pekin.
That'll be interesting to see. Is it Pekin hosting that?
That was the regional. I
was going to say.
I retract that statement. That one will be played at Moline. Moline is hosting the sectional.
Wow,
but
home court advantage.
Indeed. The Normal Community having a good year in the Big 12. They won their regional over in Pekin, but Big 12 is just such a good conference this year. Gavin and Richwoods obviously near the top of it. Obviously Normal West. You look at their record, they were near 500, but had a great conference record as Lamonte's 3 is off. But Community also had a great season after some early season injuries.
Dunked by Tavy Smith. You hear the cheers in the background. The fans in green love it. Rebounded by Richwoods. 19-point lead, and Richwoods starting to wrap it up.
That'll be the cherry on top. Kind of like the J. Sean Henry alley-oop with about 1.5 minutes left to go in the Bradley game. You want to draw comparisons between the two.
Newsom up and in. He caps off an impressive night. Timeouts. It's going to be a substitution timeout as Mark Polite will sub some of his seniors in for their final minutes of their high school career. 1:22 to go. It's a devastating loss here in the semifinal for Rock Island. Arwoods chants the crowd.
Almost similar to the chant that Manual has.
Manual. You hear that a lot. Richwoods defeated Manual 3 times. The Big 12 Conference champ Rams couldn't get over the Knights. And
a line change coming in now for the Knights.
And a crafty move right there. Jared Jackson passed the ball to an out-of-bounds teammate who was waiting on deck just so they could change over.
That's an interesting point, Gavin. I played when I played in high school. I coached my junior and senior year as Dart Brown of the Swisha Saints up in Milwaukee. He would do that as well. I'd be like, what a weird call. I was like, why would you, at first, I was like, why would you want to pass to the coach? I was like, just wait till the next substitution. And, I was a Pine rider. I was near the end of the bench. But, when he did that, though, I was pretty grateful that he did do that. That way I could get in the game with a couple more seconds left to play. And everything. So, obviously, well-earned playing time for these players on Richwoods' bench. Again, lots of contributors that they have.
As Lamonte had an and one, got it to go.
26 for him tonight.
Impressive effort from the junior, and he'll be back next season for the Rocks. Nehemiah Mason hits the board. Hits the bucket, rather. 20-point lead for Richwoods. Deep three, Atkinson grazes the rim and out of bounds, and Richwoods checks in. Now, that's Truman Rader.
That's the first time that we've seen Truman Rader, and there's been a lot of Richwoods games. I haven't seen him. Maybe I would venture to guess that if he scores, this dungeon might just blow the roof off the John Thiel Gymnasium. Tyrese Cutter also comes in for Richwoods as well. Also some subs for Rock Island. Larry Olivier Jr. and a couple others check in.
Traveling dungeon, letting them hear it. They are Richwoods. Dribbling it out, it's going to be Tyrese Carter, and he'll be fouled. So he'll shoot two, prolong the game by a few more seconds.
It looks like that foul was to get Rock Island wanted a foul to get their backup forward Joe Allen into the game, and Brooks with the foul.
And Quantarian Brooks finishing his high school career right there. As the officials are going to say something about the substitution, gotta wait.
In Dungeon, they were chanting Truman. They obviously want him to score.
I don't think it'll happen tonight, although there's 16 seconds to go. Don't let me
That's
speak
plenty
too
of
soon.
time.
What's it, only 0.4? People to get a shot off?
0.3, you can get a tip off. If you want to inbound it and get a shot, maybe more like a half-court heave. 0.8, I think, is about what you need. You can maybe get one off with 0.5 if you got a quick release.
Second free throw is good from Tyrese Carter. So he'll find the stat sheet tonight. And the Rocks will dribble it out. Richwoods is going to the sectional finals. 73-52, winners in Galesburg.
Richwoods flag being waved around the student section. Lots of green. And they're jumping up and down right now.
Think they're having fun, John?
It's going to be a nice 45-minute bus ride back to Peoria for the Knights, and their fans, what an effort they had tonight. Really complete both sides of the ball. Everyone got involved, and it's just a sort of kind of just a typical Richwoods game they've had this year, Everybody's contributed. The guards played well. A couple times where they, looked like they may give up the lead, but they responded. That's what all good basketball teams do, is they find a way to respond. Richwoods did tonight. They really just controlled this one from the jump. A wire-to-wire victory. They never trailed in this one.
Never did, and Richwoods controlled the whole way. Rock Island got as close as about 6, but pulling away were the Knights, who are 21-point victors in the sectional semifinal. Some leading scorers for you as KJ Lamonte, the junior of Rock Island, had a fantastic game. I believe he had 26. John, I think you're keeping some stats over there.
Indeed,
on the other side for Richwoods, some great efforts from Markel Newsom. Sabri Quadam got hot for a while. Jared Jackson had some nice buckets, just really balanced scoring overall. Will Smith's got to be very pleased as, again, they'll face off with either Metamora or Sterling on Friday. Whoever they end up playing, they're going to have a lot of momentum, and they know a lot of guys can put points on the board.
Yeah, certainly, and, obviously I think a lot of people would think that Metamora would be favored in that game. Obviously anything can happen in this point of the year, but if Richwoods were to face off with Metamora, you can make the case that those are two of the best teams in the entire Peoria area. Only one of them, though, would advance into super sectionals. Obviously, Metamora trying to get back to state for the first time, well, since last year. That'd be 2 in a row. I'm going to say, for me, it seemed like it would be a long time. They were just there, but, Richwoods, obviously, they're looking for, last time that they got this far in the playoffs was the 2009 and 2010 season, and they went to state and got 3rd place that year as well. So, again, very much a strong possibility for the Richwoods Knights. Special season that they're having after a couple years which they played good, not great, but this Richwoods team, I think, showing lots of signs of greatness this time of the year.
Probably going down, trying to etch their name in history as probably one of the best teams in Will Smith's era, who's coached for a while, but really turning the corner this year. It's hard to win in Peoria. They've come out of a very, very tough regional. They'll obviously have a very difficult team to play regardless if it's Sterling or Metamora on Friday. As you mentioned, Metamora probably favored in that matchup, but the Golden Warriors always seem to have an excellent basketball program. They'll duke it out tomorrow here at John Field Gymnasium, sectional final Friday, back here in Galesburg. It's going to about wrap up our coverage, audio coverage of tonight's game between Richwoods and Rock Island. Big winners tonight. The Knights win 73-52 over the Rocks. That's going to about wrap it up. So for Paco Alonso, social media and taking pictures, you'll check your Instagram feed in the next couple days to find those flicks coming your way. My broadcast partner, Jonathan Michael, I'm Gavin Russell saying so long from John Field Gymnasium in Galesburg. Richwoods win 73-52. We'll be back tomorrow for more IHSA semifinal sectional basketball on ClutchSportsIL.com.